Hello. Good. I don't know if y'all know, I sweat all the time. So sometimes people think I'm crying, but I'm not. I'm just sweating. So, all right. Okay, well, thank you all for joining us as today's announcement has been a long time coming. For some, it's one that people have been waiting to hear for more than 4 decades. And I've said from the beginning that Vandy United is about transforming and reimagining our athletics department. That includes that includes sports sponsorship. So it is with great excitement, pride, and optimism that I say volleyball is back. Yeah, that deserves a round of applause. Vanderbilt Athletics will be adding a varsity women's volleyball program beginning with the 25 season. We will compete in the Southeastern Conference, and it will become our 17th sport overall and our 11th for women. Our plan is to hire a head coach later this fall, and the work will begin to build the infrastructure necessary to support volleyball at a championship level. This team will practice and play within the confines of Memorial Gymnasium, and based on the popularity of volleyball in the SEC and around the country, and the number of young people who play the game here in Nashville, we anticipate tremendous interest. None of this would be possible without the support and partnership of our Chancellor, Daniel Diermeyer, and without the momentum that we're building through the Vandy United campaign. We have all of Commodore Nation to thank for that. Thank you, Chancellor Diermeyer, watching somewhere, for your unwavering support of Vanderbilt athletics, and thank you to all Vanderbilt alumni and supporters for your passion. Now, I said that volleyball is back. Some of you may recall that we actually had a varsity volleyball team once before. Back when the athletic department first added women's varsity sports in the late 1970s, we had a varsity volleyball team in 79 and 80. Volleyball had existed as a club sport prior to that time and still remains a popular club sport today. I am extremely happy. Now, Ken Debelak could not join us today, but I'm really happy for him personally. Dr. Debelak is the Associate Professor of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering Emeritus and Senior Lecturer in Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering, and has been one of the biggest proponents for the sport of volleyball on this campus since he arrived in 1977. He served as a club team coach for many years, both before and after the brief varsity period, and he has worked hard over the years to make the case for the sport's return. Ken, I know that you were watching. I'm so happy for you personally, and I'm glad that we have the opportunity to celebrate this together. I had the pleasure of, we've been trying to find the members of those teams, and I was able to connect with two of them yesterday, and they were so excited. So Ann and Suzanne, if you were watching, this congratulations is for you. I want you and your teammates to know that you are always a part of this family. We are so excited that you get to be a part of bringing it back. And as we move forward, we'll talk about how volleyball will be included in the Black and Gold Club, and we have Giving Day coming up on Thursday. You all can donate to volleyball. We're just very excited. And I am an alum. That is a really important part of my identity. It fuels me in this position. So to alums in particular, I want to say welcome back home. So with all that Vanderbilt University has to offer as an elite academic institution located in a great city, and with the momentum and support that we're experiencing in athletics and as charter members of the SEC, we also have high expectations for the success of women's volleyball. We are eager to find the right coach and begin building the program from the ground up. The search, as I said before, for a head coach will commence later this fall. To all the talented young women playing volleyball out there, you need to know that Vanderbilt will be an option for you. And we hope you'll help us build a winning tradition here. I'm beyond excited to think about our women competing in Memorial wearing black and gold. And I know that Commodore Nation, you will make sure they have a great home court advantage. So with that, thank you for being here. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Hey, Candice. Yeah. I thought this was gonna, the regular mic, but I think you alluded to infrastructure. What are preliminary plans in terms of? I assume they would need a locker room and training facilities and stuff like that.
Yeah, so as you all know, that Populous is the architect that's taking the lead to help with the master planning process with Vandy United. So we've actually had Populous working on this for some time. We will have to build a locker room. We will have to make sure, we have a lot in Memorial right now, as you know. Now, yesterday we gave more details about what will be included in the basketball practice facility. That's really important because a lot of what is currently being occupied in Memorial will move over to that facility, thus freeing up more space for volleyball. So I said 25, right? It's possible we could be in 24 maybe, but I want to give us enough runway because there's a couple things that are really important here. One, we have to make sure that the sports that we have right now have everything that they need to compete at the highest level. Right, so that is a work in progress, and we remain committed to that. Also, when it's time for us to sponsor volleyball, we want them ready to compete at a championship level right away. So we need some runway to do that. So we want them to be fully funded. That's 12 scholarships. We want to make sure that they have the appropriate and adequate staff, all of the support resources. There are a lot of things that go into this, and we want to set them up for success while also making sure that our other sports have what they need. So that's the idea, Robbie.
Candice, I'm curious, how long has this been on the back burner for you, and was it even before you got this job?
Yeah, so prior to, next month, I will have been in the position as the athletic director for 2 years. So prior to that, as a senior woman administrator, our job is always to look at sport offerings. So this is not a new conversation. It's just that now I'm in the position to do it because I'm in charge. And so that's, I don't say that I say that with all the humility in the world, but now we can do it. But we also have the support because of Vandy United and the space to actually make this feasible and to put them in a position where they can succeed and not at the expense of another program. And so that's really important. But this has been something that David Williams is not here today, but I'm happy for him too, because he wanted to add volleyball, and now we have the ability to do it. So I'm happy for all of us. It's been a long time coming.
Why'd you pick that specific sport? There are a few others too that you could have chosen. Why volleyball?
So what others are you thinking about? Softball? I'm just kidding. I knew what you were thinking about. So we all know that you could consider it a challenge, but I'm gonna just say it's just a fact that we are landlocked. Right? So part of what we have to do is we have to transform within our current footprint. Now, we have lots of opportunity for ingenuity and innovation. That's why we love our partnership with Populous, because they're great at that. So if you saw yesterday's images, you saw that we are literally taking an end zone of the football stadium. The outside of it is going to be for football fans. The inside is going to be for basketball. And there will also be tons of multi-purpose space that we can use for events and to support the community. That is an example of being innovative within our very tight footprint. So this footprint does not have room for a softball field, right? Listen, we are always looking at different sports, and we're always evaluating our portfolio. We're here to talk about volleyball, but I think that hopefully if you were able to see what we put out yesterday, you'll see why volleyball makes so much sense for us. Right? So as our men's and women's basketball programs move into the new facility for their day-to-day operations, it will free up the space for us to provide everything that volleyball needs to be able to compete at the highest level from day one. So that's why. It does not mean that other things are not on the table. I hope that you can tell that as an administration, we're really thoughtful about how we don't skip steps. We take our time. We're very informed as we make decisions, so we will not rush to do anything, but we will do things as they make sense. And in the sequence, this is what makes sense next.
Hi, Candice. I know back when women's bowling was added, you guys turned to current students to fill holes on the roster. Is that something you're thinking about now? The club women's volleyball team is very active on campus.
So when you think about, it's a great question, Justin. When you think about the conditions at that time when we added bowling, so you have to have 16 sports to be at this level, Division I, and so we were swapping, if you will. We had discontinued men's soccer, and we added bowling, and we needed to do that really in quick fashion. We also felt like one of the reasons that we chose bowling is because we felt that we could be competitive fast. And so just because of the circumstances, we did have to rely on club participants to field that first team. And those young women are always heroes in my book, because we asked them to transition and to do so very quickly, and they did so with great pride and great energy. Part of the up to 36-month runway that we're talking about with volleyball is that you may not have to solely rely on just club participants. I've been in conversation with some of our club participants, and hey, there may be young women there that our new coach TBD, may want to take a look at them, right? So that's certainly possible. I would never assume that we don't have great talent right here on our campus, right? We have the best of the best in everything. So I would assume that in our club sports as well. I don't know exactly. I know that we have an A team and a B team that has about 12 participants each. And, when we think about our time frame, it may very well be that some of those young women may be actually part of the varsity team in 24 or 25. But I also think that's why we want to get a coach in here sooner than later, so that they can begin to build out what that plan looks like, they can recruit, and they can have time. So it could be a combination.
Candice, I know you're technically bringing the sport back, but it has been a while. What are some of the challenges in starting completely fresh with a brand new sport?
Well, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, Jeremy Organ, who is our swimming coach, and John Williamson, who's our bowling coach, they both have experience with this, and I'm going to pick their brains to make sure we don't skip steps, because you're right, building something from the ground up, even though we are technically bringing it back, that's a challenge for a lot of reasons. I would say my biggest thing is I want to make sure that we've been thoughtful enough to prepare them to compete at the highest level. So, that's everything. Right, it's hard for me to kind of pick out one thing. In leading up to this, we had conversations with our admissions office, right? Because we wanted to give them enough lead time to know that we're going to be recruiting additional people. We have to think about making sure that from a support staff standpoint, we have athletic trainer coverage and student services coverage, and all of the things, right? We know, when we think about the way that our sports compete, we don't have a lot of fall sports, right? So volleyball will become a sport that's on campus before classes begin, and there are resources that are required there too. We want to make sure that we do this right. So there are likely a lot of challenges, but we'll make sure that we address them. I'm really excited because one of the things that we're going to do is form, we're jokingly calling it the Bump Set Spike Committee, but it'll be this goodwill committee that includes some really excited students from the club program, students from our student body who just love volleyball and are interested, Dr. Debelak, alums, certainly people from our administration, where they will serve as ambassadors for welcoming volleyball back. And so we anticipate that they will be able to give feedback on designs as Populous is underway, and we may take a couple road trips and look at some facilities and also watch some matches, but really get tied into what's happening in this region, because we know that volleyball is so big. And so I think that group will serve as a great resource for us, so that we can identify not challenges but opportunities head on to make sure that we're setting them up for success.
What's your pitch to prospective coach? Because it obviously takes a certain type of person to build the program from the ground up.
Yeah, well, so I want to be clear. The pitch is, this is Vanderbilt. So I don't think I'm going to have to if I have to convince you, then this is not the place for you. If you cannot look at what we have and think that you can come here and truly build a legacy, we don't have to worry about interviewing you. I think what we've done sort of speaks for itself, what we're doing, and that's the collective we, right? We're trying to shake off a historical, not shake off, we're attacking a historical narrative that says that we're not serious about competing at the highest level, or a narrative, a false narrative that says that we don't have support from across the street. It's just not true. So you have an opportunity to come here and be at an elite academic institution where the degree speaks for itself, in one of the best cities in the world, in the best conference in the country, with the best people that anybody would have the opportunity to work with, and with student athletes who are amazing. That's the pitch. And it's not a pitch, though. It's just real. And you got a chance to build something. And if you're a competitor, I don't know why you don't relish at that opportunity. Okay, maybe I made the pitch. Okay.
Questions for Candice? Great. Thanks, Candice.
Hey, thank y'all so much. We are really excited. Thank you.